Hello, everyone. This is Coach Colleen with Teen-tastic Families, and today we are talking about grief and how to walk your teen through it. This is such a big subject, and I try to keep my videos fairly short, so I'm not going real deep into it. I just have a couple specific points I really want to make on it. My mom died when I was 12, and so I understand from a child's point of view what that kind of looks like. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, we all know there's different stages of grief, right? I just looked up on the internet because I had kind of just to refresh my mind a bit, and they talk about shock and denial, right? That's what happens at first: pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, reflection, and loneliness, sometimes depending on who died, right? Acceptance, and then reconstruction. And of course, the different sites you go to and any kind of teaching you have on grief, they might change up the words slightly, but those are the basic, stages. And so what I want to talk about is, okay, who died? If for myself, like I said, it was a parent. It could also be schoolmate. I mean, with so many shootings going on in schools, which is absolutely horrendous. But it could be a dog or an old neighbor, right? It's not going to be the same for the child as, an old neighbor versus, a parent, obviously. Also, too, things like divorce can be a grieving period and moving. If the child really enjoyed where they were at, moving can be almost like a grieving time. So you want to be sensitive as to what they're grieving. They might not even realize they are grieving, because who would think that, they would be grieving through divorce? That's a mom and dad's thing, right? And so there's a lot of different, this is for little kids too, right? We all, of course, grieve differently. And we take longer for different kind of grieving. For a parent, my mom had cancer for 3 years. So we had lots of time. Now we're Christians, and we were praying and hoping for a miracle. And but we had lots of time to get used to the idea. And also too, my mom was in hospital a lot, so she wasn't around the house always, so we got used to her being gone. So when she had actually passed away, we actually thought it was funny, my sister and I, how people all of a sudden started bringing food, and we're like, well, mom's been in a hospital for a year. Did they think we not eat for a year? It would just struck us kind of funny that, we had survived for like a whole year that my mom had been in the hospital. But it's just, when somebody passes, people do it out of the goodness of their heart. But from a kid's point of view, it just was weird. So it was just funny to us how, they thought we might have functioned beforehand. But so, and the more the teen or the child talks about the death, the better. This is helpful, of course, if the child is chatty. But I had some nephews whose dad took his life, and so they were young teens, and I think the youngest was 8 or 10. And so this was very traumatic. It's because it's done by choice, and there's we come from a big family, and so the family just descended, and we were all talking and crying and laughing with memories, and things. And so there was a lot of healing that went on for those kids of this parent who took his life. And so they did go to counseling, which I do suggest to all kids, for all people, really, if it's somebody close. I've had several people to die, and so I've kind of have my own way I process through things. But a Christian counselor, if you're a Christian, that's very important, because they bring our values and our comfort from God into that. And so that's important. If you're a Christian, go to a Christian counselor. But help allow your teen and your kid to grieve the way they want for a while. I know, again, my sister passed away. She left 2 teenage boys. And so I just know for myself, if I needed to talk to my mom, I just talk to her. Just say, Mom, da 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 da. I would just talk into the air. And I gave myself permission to do that. And I didn't have counseling. Counseling wasn't a big deal way back when I was 12. And so, but I remember telling my nephews, go ahead, talk to them. I had to pretend in order to function. For me, my escape was school. I pretended everything was normal. I dealt with things when I got home, but being at school, I just tried to pretend it was another day, nothing had changed. And because you cannot grieve 24 hours a day, you will die. Your body just can't handle that kind of grief ongoing like that. You have to have moments of sanity. And so even to pretend for a couple hours that everything's normal, go do something that you used to like to do. It's not a crime to have fun, even though someone has died. You need to allow yourself to laugh. Even if it's out of memory of something silly that person did, or something that's very often that's mixed with tears too. And this all comes with time. But for teenagers and for kids, they grieve differently. Now also too, like if you were to have a family pet, like a dog, like I said, to pass away, a week or 2 would be normal grieving. If it extends like past a normal time, and if they're constantly sobbing, first of all, you could, like I said, take them to a counselor. Also too, just give yourself a time limit. I have heard this over and over, and just say, even to yourself, okay, I can't keep going like this. I'm going to give myself 3 more days. Okay, and you can talk to your teen and just say, okay, you cannot function like this. Now, if it's a parent, you're going to be grieving off and on for a year, okay, with all your first Christmas, your first birthdays, family holidays, all those firsts are going to be traumatic in their own way. So that's a whole nother story. But if I'm just taking like a pet as an example. If it's going on past, what you would think is normal, talk to the person, just say, okay, you cannot keep on. And they can help decide whether, okay, is 3 days enough? Maybe they want another week, and say, okay, and let them grieve however they want to grieve for that 3 days or week or whatever you set. But then after that, it's just like, okay, let's start the healing process. Let's remember the good times and be thankful for the time we had with him, and just start the healing process. And so it really helps to do this in advance, because it helps prepare you for that next step. And so I hope this helped. I know it's really brief for the serious topic that this is. For the shootings, the schools, the school is not going to be the safe place. And so obviously that's a whole another world, another ball game. So take this for what it's worth. Just regular situations, and think about the good things, like help your teen, and even as a family, if it's a grandmother or some loved one who passed away, and they can help with the funeral too, actually, especially if your kid is a whiz on a computer. They could do the pictures, like the PowerPoint presentation that all the photos that everybody sends you, and you do a PowerPoint presentation. Kids would be great at this. If they're a computer whiz, that would be their way to honor that person. And so let them help. If one thing too, it would take a huge piece of responsibility off your plate. And if you're planning a funeral, which I have done several, so yeah, let them help. A lot of people get healing by helping honor that person. All right, hope this helped. And if you want to contact me, email is the best way, teentasticfamilies@gmail.com. Or you can private message me through Facebook, like on Messenger, and I can give you a free 45-minute strategy session to see if I can help you. I offer a couple 90-day programs to help parents how to parent their teens in these crazy times. And for those with preteens, I have a 90-day program, which really helps prepare you for what's coming. And really, this starts coming when your kids are turning 10 to 12, like it's the preteens and what you can expect. And it's almost the worst case scenarios, but it gives you an idea. I know I took a course before my kids were teens, and it was the best thing I ever did. So contact me if you want to find out more, or if you want that free 45-minute strategy session. We'll get something set up. And yeah, that's it. Well, contact me if you want to find out more. We'll see you next time.